Hi, I'm James Baker, founder of James Baker and Associates and international tax expert slash entrepreneur. And this clip you're about to see is from our last Ask Me Anything. If you want to ask me some questions, I come on live Wednesdays and Thursdays as much as I can. You can join with the link in the description below. I'd love to see you there. If I'm paying a freelancer in Colombia, I simply have to have them fill out a form WABEN. And since they're a non-resident doing work outside the US, there is no withholding, correct? Assuming you are a U.S. person or a foreign person, there's no U.S. tax withholding. So in my example, I paid people, half of my team, more than half of my team is from outside the U.S. I'm outside the U.S. right now, and I don't withhold taxes on anyone. And it's because they're not in the U.S. and they're not performing any services in the U.S. If they were in the U.S. performing services, then sure, you would have to consider withholding and look into that. But if they're in their home country performing services out there, you don't have to withhold taxes. And another way to look at it is if you get paid, like for example, I get paid by people outside the U.S. more often than not. So, the other day I have a guy in Spain who paid me. He's not going to withhold taxes on a payment to me for my services locally. He's not going to withhold taxes in Spain because I'm not subject to income tax in Spain. If I was in Spain doing work, I could see that potentially being an issue, but I haven't had that problem. I haven't had anyone withholding taxes on payments to me. I know in some in countries like Colombia and Ecuador and South American countries, if you pay for services which are delivered outside the country, that's when you do have to withhold taxes. But in the US, that just is not the case. You do not have to withhold taxes on payments to contractors outside the US. And you know what? I'm going to go into this a little more because I love this topic, and I'm going to show you why from the publications. I think it's publication 519 again. Publication. Which is a great publication. It is the tax aliens. And I'm going to share my screen really quick. Again, I talked about this in the last meeting, and I want to make a dedicated video for it, but I didn't do it. So here we are, publication 519. Let's look at I don't want the HTML. I want this. Withholding on wages. Here you go. So withholding from compensation. The following discussion generally applies only to non-resident aliens. Taxes withheld from resident aliens in the same manner as citizens. So wages paid to a non-resident alien for service performed as an employee are usually subject to graduated withholding rates. Therefore, your compensation. So there's withholding if you're in the U.S. And that's the big difference here. And we have to see the notes here, withholding on wages. Okay. Independent contractors. So there's no employee-employee relationship between you and your compensation is subject to 30% rate of withholding. And that's when you're engaged in that's when you're doing it working in the United States. I'm trying to find, I think it's up here. Oh, really great. Okay. The next page. Special events, I don't know, tax code. Oops. This happens every time. I look at this and it's hard to find the exact thing. It's 60 pages, so I'm trying to find the exact snippet, and I did it in the last video where it tells you who's subject to withholding taxes, penalties. Cool, it should be here. Paying tax through withholding or estimated taxes. There you go, notification of alien status. If you're a resident alien, you must let your employer know whether you're a resident or non-resident alien. That's the W-9. If you're a resident, you do W-9, or a non-resident alien is a W-8 BEN. And they say employer. Again, this is confusing because we're talking about an employee. Most people working abroad are generally independent contractors. And it says it right here. Okay. On wages. Now we have to look at the so the problem is that this is all referring to people doing work in the US. Final payment exemption. Income, withholding from other income. This is something they talk about a lot, tax withholding partnership income. If you're a foreign partner um, of a U.S. Of a partnership with U.S. trade or business, then it has to withhold taxes at the highest rate. No, this isn't what I want. Special events promoting real estate sales. I have to look at my last video and figure out where it was, and if it's not in this publication, where it would be, because I'm getting confused again already. Any comments from uh, whatever. I'm gonna go to the next source of income, exclusions from income, how are aliens taxed?